What is going on, guys? Satsuki the Savage here, and today is going to be a very special video. It's a video I've been working on months upon months, all right? Today is 100 and plus Hunter x Hunter manga and anime differences, all right? Now, for this video, what I had to do was I started with the manga of Hunter x Hunter from chapter 1, and I will read a couple of chapters and then I will watch the corresponding episode. So I basically watched all of the anime and all of the manga together around the same time, all right? And yeah, that's what I had to do to make this video. Now, keep in mind with these manga and anime differences, a lot of them are really minor, all right? So it's not like there are 100 like big changes that happen in the anime and the manga, but there are some, but keep in mind, again, a lot of these are very minuscule, all right? But with that being said, let's get started. So what I'm going to do, if anyone wants to fact check me or if they want to see the differences for themselves, I'm going to have the anime episode in the top left corner, the manga chapter in the bottom left corner, and I'll have this right here in the top right corner so we can count up the anime and manga differences. In chapter 1, Kite is introduced. In the anime, Kite isn't introduced into the Chimera Ant arc. In the manga, Gon and Mito don't do the pinky swear thing that they did in the anime. In the manga, the captain of the ship allows the passengers to row to the nearest island after the first storm. In the anime, the captain simply fails the passengers who got sick after the first storm. In the manga, the captain teaches Gon how to man a ship. This is absent in the anime. In the manga, Leorio gets mad at Kurapika for calling him Riolio. In the anime, Leorio gets mad at Kurapika for not using the San honorific when addressing him, since he's older. Kurapika in the manga is shown to have extraordinary hearing, as he could tell there were people in what looked to be a ghost town just by listening to the sounds of their breathing. This is important because the anime altered how Kurapika knew the secret of the two-choice quiz. In the manga, Kurapika figures out there was no right answer by hearing the screams of the guy who went before them. In the anime, Kurapika figures out there was no right answer because an enraged Leorio blurts out, "There is no right." People first, unprovoked, because he was bored. In the manga, Leorio tanked one of Hisoka's cars that hit his arm. In the manga, Examine number 76 wasn't killed by Hisoka. In fact, he was the one that came up with the plan to split up and run away. The structure of the second phase of the Hunter exam is different, which was the cooking with Menchi and Buhara. In the manga, the examinees had to roast pork to satisfy Buhara, then make sushi to satisfy Menchi. In the anime, the examinees had to make a pork dish to satisfy both Menchi and Buhara. In the manga, when Menchi refuses to pass anyone, she talks directly to Beans. In the anime, Satos has to call Beans to get the chairman involved. In the manga, there is no updraft at the ravine when the examinees had to board the spider eagle eggs. As far as the manga showed, no one dies in this test. In the anime, at least 4 people fall to their deaths. In the anime, the psychology of rock, paper, scissors was more fleshed out and explained why Leorio chose what he chose. The backstory of Jonas was altered a tad bit. In the anime, the commonality of his victims is that he killed them all with his bare hands, but in the manga, the theme with him is that none of his victims were left in less than 50 pieces. In the manga, Killua crushes the heart of Jonas after he asks for a bat. In the anime, he places it in his hand after he dies. The first half of episode 12 is canon filler. During the 50-hour penalty that Gon's group suffered, the anime showed us what happened in that time, while the manga just skipped over it. In the anime, Gon figures out he could break the walls to get to the short and easy path because of the fight between Leorio and Tompa. In the manga, Gon figures this out because Jonas breaks the walls with his bare hands. Also, the Tompa and Leorio fight didn't happen. In the manga, Gon felt the presence of Gareta early in the 4th phase. In the anime, he never detected him at all. The anime censors the death of Gareta. In the manga, Hisoka cuts his head clean off and walks around with it, but in the anime, he's just dead somehow. When Killua steals the badge from Imori and throws the other badges from the Amori brothers, in the anime he deliberately switches the badges 197 and 198 mid-throw because he knew Hanzo was following them. In the manga, we never see Killua deliberately switch the badges, so it's just assumed that Hanzo guessed wrong when running after the badge. Alright, so this is one big difference that concerns Ging and Kite. When Poco meets up with Gon, Leorio, and Kurapika at their orientation, in the manga, Gon mentions Ging to Poco. Poco then tells the trio about the internet and a communication system unique to hunters. After this conversation, Gon asks Satos about a hunter license that he's been carrying around that wasn't his. We learn that the hunter license was Jing's and it was dropped by Kite, and also the hunter that Satos admired was Ging. Later we see how important Ging is after Kurapika searches him up on the internet, but his information is classified. In the anime, however, when Poco approaches Gon, Leorio, and Kurapika, he is the one to search up Ging, not Kurapika. Then he tells the trio how important he is. Satos overhears this conversation and brings up the person that he admired was Ging. So in the anime, Kite was still never mentioned, nor was Ging Hunter's license ever shown yet. There are a couple of deviations with episodes 40 and 41. First, there's an anime original scene where Kikyo talks to Killua while he is chained up, and Killua declares that Gon will definitely open the testing gate. Second, the training sequence was much more fleshed out in the anime. In the manga, most of the training was off panel. Third, the scene where Kurapika, Leorio, and Gon open the testing gate together didn't happen in the manga. In fact, it was stated by Zebro that the trio could open the gates by themselves and that Leorio could even open 2 gates. Fourth, it was stated in the manga that Seiya Quan is a hunter, a blacklist hunter to be exact, while the anime never mentioned this. In episode 24, there was a lot of anime original scenes where it showed the origin of Canary and Killua's relationship, whereas in the manga, there was only 1 page of backstory concerning those two. We learned that Canary is from Meteor City, home to the Phantomtruth, and a place that was mentioned early in the anime. In the manga, Meteor City wasn't mentioned until chapter 102. We see Killua using Rhythm Echo at age 9. Saquon's story is expanded because we see Canary's fight with his group, where she also used Rhythm Echo. Furthermore, the flashback showed that Kikyo was the deterrent in Killua being friends with Canary. There's a bit of censorship because while Miluki is quote-unquote punishing Killua, in the manga, he burns her with a cigar. This is absent in the anime. While there are a lot of differences in character designs from the anime to the manga, Kato stands out because he looks a lot more feminine in the manga. In the manga, Gon mentions 2 goals he wants to accomplish. The immediate one is to punch Hisoka in the face and return his badge. The second is to return Jing's hunter license to Kite, the latter being omitted in the anime. After Kurapika gets turned down by the agency because of his lack of knowledge about Nin, in the anime, right after this he meets Izunavi, but in the manga, we first see Izunavi in chapter 83 after a flashback during Kurapika's fight with Evogan. In the fight between Hisoka and Castro, after Hisoka has his right arm severed, in the manga, Hisoka grabs his arm and then eats a part of it before throwing it up in the air. I don't know why he did this, but this was absent in the anime. In the manga, after the death of Castro, the narrator goes into detail as to why Castro lost and how. In the anime, the narration is replaced by a conversation between Machi and Hisoka after the match. When Gon sets up his fight with Hisoka over the phone, in the manga, he's wearing clothes, but in the anime, he's butt-ass naked. The second time Gon, Killua, and Zushi do the water divination test, in the manga, Gon goes first, then Killua, and Zushi doesn't go at all. But in the anime, Killua goes first, then Zushi, then Gon. In the manga, after Gon and Killua graduate from Ween's lessons, Zushi feels inadequate, but Ween reassures him by saying he is talented, but Gon and Killua have rare talent. In the anime, he quantifies the rarity of his students' talent by saying Zushi is a 1 in transmuters. In the anime, he covers all the Nin categories. However, the manga does cover it in a separate extra page by the end of the chapter. In the manga, Mito says that Gon hasn't called once since he has passed the hunter exam, but in the anime, Mito already knew who Killua was, implying that Gon wrote home or called Mito and let her know about Killua. In the manga, Gon shows Killua where he met Kite and the Fox Bear, and the Fox Bear leads Gon fish. In the manga, Killua buys the Joy Station and the memory card online. In the anime, he buys it from a toy store on Whale Island. Episode 39 had a lot of anime original content where we see Neon's bodyguards before they all initially meet at the mansion. Melody crosses paths with Kurapika and goes to the same agency as him. We see Baze's ability, Instant Lover, used on some random goons. We see Basho beat up some cops on the rooftop while it's a full moon. And we see Swallow talking to his wife Eliza over the phone. In episode 39, we got a bit of censorship because in the manga, Basho was smoking on the couch when we first see him at the mansion. Also, Daozolane appearing on the monitor with two bitches was omitted in the anime. When Gon and Killua look for information about Greed Island on the Hunter website, in the anime, they actually go into a Nen-based world with the bartender. This is absent in the manga. When Neon is talking on the phone with her father, the anime added a charm to her cell phone, which was pulled from Yu Yu Hakusho,
which of course is another Togashi series.
In the manga, Leorio is using Ten, and we learn that this is the only Nen technique he knows. This is absent in the anime. When Daozolane has his call intercepted by the Phantom Troop, we never see how they do it. However, in the anime, we see that Schaunard took control over a mafia member, giving us a first glimpse of his powers. When Uvogin is interrogating a mafia member in an attempt to find Kurapika, in the anime, Uvogin smashes his head into the wall after he has the information he wants. In the manga, he crushes his head. When Gon and Leorio are pulling off their arm wrestling scam to get money and connections, in the anime, after Gon has beaten a lot of people and rumors spread, a connect to the underground approaches Leorio and invites him to an underground arm wrestling event. In the manga, the underground connect's bodyguard tries to arm wrestle Gon, but since Gon's arm can't reach his, Leorio arm wrestle in his stead and won while also breaking the guy's arm. The underground connect is then impressed by Leorio and invites him to the underground arm wrestling event. When Zapale stops Killua and Gon from being scammed, in the manga, after opening the statue, they try to auction the jewelry off in it, but then a random guy tries to cheapen the price of the item by stating the different doctoring methods. In the anime, after the merchant tries to scam Gon and Killua, the random guy in the manga is actually a co-merchant, but he has the same role. When Zenji shows his jealousy over Light Nostrade's sudden rise in power, in the manga, he punches him and beats him before Kurapika holds him at knife point. In the anime, Zenji just grabs Light by the collar. In the anime, one of the freelance assassins hired by the Ten Dons was killed by Chrollo. In the manga, he is never shown to be killed or shown at all after chapter 95. However, his death was alluded to by Zeno in chapter 98. In the manga, after Neon is bedridden, Light Nostrade wants to kill the people who harmed his daughter, and he lets Kurapika deal with the Phantom Troop. In the anime, Light is more concerned with his daughter's safety, so he is reluctant to let Kurapika go after the Phantom Troop, initially keeping him guarding Neon until Kurapika convinced him he would be more useful fighting. In the anime, when Leorio and Zapale are drinking, Killua chastises them for goofing off, but in the manga, Killua joins them for a drink too. In the manga, a hacker hired by the Mafia explains the details of Meteor City and lets us know this is where the Phantom Troop is from. In the anime, Kurapika and Leorio are the ones giving the viewers this information instead. In the manga, after Swallow's death, witnesses in traffic were horrified by Swallow's beheading and Pakunoda shooting Nobunaga and Kortopi, when us viewers know that those two were in no danger. The anime, of course, omits this. In the anime, after Finks fails to Kurapika, he is punched by Machi and Nobunaga. In the manga, he is punched by Pakunoda and Nobunaga. In the manga, when Gon and Killua eat at a restaurant, they don't have money to cover the meal since real money isn't accepted in Greed Island. We learn that Greed Island has cards that are used as currency, but since Gon and Killua couldn't pay for their meal, they washed the dishes for the restaurant. This is omitted in the anime. In the manga, the first victim we see of Genthru has his body split in two for the explosion. In the anime, his body is still intact. In the anime, when a group collecting cards gathers in their hideout, they give a list for the people to memorize and they do so off screen. In the manga, we get a list of all 40 spell cards. In the manga, a guy tries to rob Gon and Killua for their Sword of Truth card, but he had a reason, he had a wife at home, and he was stuck in a game. He also felt guilt about robbing Gon and Killua. The manga even gave us his name, Motariko. In the anime, he's pretty much forgettable. In the manga, Gon and Killua successfully fooled 3 players before getting jumped by experts. First, Motariko failed to get the Sword of Truth card because Killua put it in his extra slot when Motariko tried to use a card to take another card from a specific slot. Then another guy tries to rob Gon, but since he didn't put the card in his binder, he fails, he tries again, but he ends up stealing a useless rock card. Then another guy tries to activate a spell, but Gon takes it before he can activate it. Then Gon and Killua both get jumped. In the anime, Motariko gets his card snatched by Gon before he can activate it. In the manga, when Benote fights Bisky and loses, he spits up blood from Bisky's palm attack. In the anime, he spits up spit. In the anime, Genthru tells players that his countdown bombs are related to their pulse. In the manga, Genthru doesn't mention this, but Abengane figures it out after they realize their countdowns have different numbers. In the manga, before Gon hits a tree to get the King Whitestab beetle card, an overseer offers him a big ass hammer to hit the tree with, but Gon declines. In the anime, he doesn't offer the hammer at all. When searching for the Strip of Beach card, in the manga, the collab team talk to some NPCs who warn them about the dangers of finding out information on the card. This is omitted from the anime. When Gon meets Dune in the manga, he asks him does he want an ending for himself or a generic one. Gon answers that he wants a generic one because he couldn't beat Greed Island without his friends. This was omitted from the anime. Almost the entirety of episode 76 is anime original. In the manga, Kite and Gon recognize each other almost immediately, which is not the case in the anime. Since Kite was never referenced before in the anime, this episode is the first time we see him. Also, when Kite shoots a Chimera ant pile, we have a flashback of him meeting Jean. This is all anime original content. In the anime, the story of Kurt, the guy who began Colt, and Reina is a little bit more fleshed out. We actually see their mother and Kurt protecting Reina before the Chimera ants attack. In the manga, they are killed in pretty much 2 pages. In episode 78, we have an anime original moment where Colt actually sees his mother. In the manga, the mother isn't shown until chapter 215. In the anime, we actually see the NGL drug cartel shoot and kill a Chimera ant. This is off screen and only alluded to in the manga by Turtle. In the anime, Kite talks about the drug D2 after NGL's nasty rumors are brought up by Stick Dinner. In the manga, Kite talks about D2 after going to Killua stumble across Gyro's narcotic factory. We get more anime original content because we see how Ponzu and Poco knew about the Chimera ants being in NGL. In the anime, we see Peggy reading books, telling Turtle about guns. This is absent in the manga. In episode 79, we have anime original content where we see Poco kill 3 Chimera ants. We also get anime original content where we see a little bit of Yeonju taking over Gyro's underground hideout. In episode 80, we got the backstory of Gyro earlier than we did in the manga because we didn't get this backstory until chapter 203 when Killua and Gon escape from NGL. In episode 81, we get anime original content where Zazan is explaining to the other Chimera ants what a rare human is. In the manga, the fight between Kite and Yeonjun was off panel. The anime actually showed the fight. In the manga, the fight between Killua and the Chimera ant in the forest was off panel. The anime actually showed the fight. In episode 84, we get anime original content where we see Leo, Hina, and Flutter set up an ambush for Kite, Gon, and Killua. After Pito was done literally picking Poco's brain apart, in the manga, we see the pig Chimera ant butcher him. This is absent in the anime. In the anime, Pito theorizes how Ramont was able to develop his Nen by opening his pores from Gon's Jajakin. This is absent in the manga. In episode 85, we have anime original content where Kite gives Gon Jean's license. In the anime, they show Miriam eating a part of Peggy, while the manga only alludes to it. Diego's death is much more graphic in the manga as opposed to the anime, which only shows Miriam's tail swipe. In the anime, Chitu calls Leo by his original name, Hagya. In the manga, Chitu doesn't do this at all. In the manga, when Pawn sleeps with Bezelf, we can see they got a little freaky because the bed appears to have sex toys and cameras pointed at the bed. This is absent in the anime. In the anime, we see Pawn get close to the staircase and feel the aura of Pito. This is absent in the manga. In the anime, we see Hina, Bezelf, and Reina escape and leave the garage doors open that led Welfin to Ikago. In the manga, this is absent. Welfin is just there. In the anime, Bezelf is confident that he can pass through the harbor because of his official government vehicle. In the manga, he has a backup plan of bribery since he has money. In the manga, Killua states one of Veluca's secrets, which is that she calls him Killua when she is normal and brother when she turns into Nanika. In the anime, it is the exact opposite. In the manga, Katocha, the hacker hunter, is said to refuse to vote. In the anime, it is said that he can't vote since he lives in the digital world. The Illumi car crash scene is a tad bit different. In the anime, after the first semi-truck goes after the car that Killua is in, Canary is able to drive up a cliff before the second truck rams them. In the manga, Canary just drives past the first truck and gets hit by the second. In the manga, Miluki is the one who hacks into Tsubone's eyepiece and feeds the video to Illumi. In the anime, Kikyo is the one that does this. In the anime, Pterodane and Morel had their last conversation over the phone. In the manga, this conversation is over a video call on Pterodane's laptop. So with that, people, that is it for the anime and manga differences. I want you guys to comment whether you like some of the changes that were made, you know, talking about that manga to the anime, or if you like some of the original moments that happened from the source material, all right? But guys, that is it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Satsuki the Savage, out.
Am I dying to live, or am I living to die? Living a lie, with my hands stressed out. See, I'm stressed out, being the best out. Visions in my body stretched out.